All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of The Potential Project. I'm your host, Sean Calhoun, and I thank you for joining me for another week here of getting better, of learning about health, about wellness, and about just ways to pursue your full potential in all areas of life. On this episode, what I wanted to talk about was a little bit of the changes that are going on for me in the new year, where my sights are at, and things that I'm going to be focusing on for my health because if you follow me on here and on social media, you're going to see some posts that are related to the things that I'm doing. So I wanted to give you the full breakdown of what that's going to look like on here. It's not going to be the longest episode, but I like to give you guys tips on ways to improve your health, bring on guests that are going to talk about amazing, specific things that have occurred in their life or the ways that they look at pursuing their full potential. But this is mine, right? I'm on a health journey, and I think I'll always be until I die of trying to figure out ways that I can improve my health, and then allocate that information to you guys, right? Return the favor by sharing it with you on this platform, on social medias, and with coaching clients in general. For those of you who don't know, I've been studying to become a functional health practitioner, right? And throughout the course of learning that stuff and included in the tuition, you get labs that you get to do, right? Blood tests, stool tests, urine tests, saliva, a bunch of stuff that tests your hormones, that tests your gut health, that tests a lot of markers that are going to determine, your health and give us a good way to analyze where I'm at currently, the stressors that are on my body, and then what improvements I can make to then reduce the stress. And I like to say the word build my vitality, right? Give my body the tools that it needs to go and do what it needs to do on a regular basis, right? Like I always say, your body wants to feel good. It wants to have energy. It wants to sleep well. It wants to have no digestive problems. Like it wants to do all that stuff and your cells know how to do that without even thinking about it. But we have things that alter it, right? Stress that we put on our body that make these systems go out of whack. So I got all these labs done, and I talked about this before. But then you get to meet with a practitioner, and someone is going to give you what's called a DRESS protocol: diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation. So, a protocol involving all of those areas on ways that I can go ahead and improve my life based on the markers that appeared on my lab results, which is great, right? And I've been doing a bunch of those, but I was waiting to do them with my fiancée Gianna, right? We are doing certain things together. Now, she didn't get her lab results done yet. She's going to be my first client. So when I'm done and I graduate, she's going to be my first client. But until then, she's still going to take the practice of some of the baseline fundamental stuff, right? Like things that you can do really without knowing what your specifics are, and they're still going to improve your health. So I brought up my protocol, and I'm going to break down some of the things that came across for me as specifics. And I'm going to show you what I'm doing, and then I'm going to show you what I'm doing with Gianna together, and kind of how that's going to look, right? So for the diet section, some of the things that I was, recommended to do is reduce or eliminate coffee, right? So I have some markers that came low, right? Diamine oxidase is one, for example, and that marker is triggered by caffeine, right? So I'm going to be lowering or eliminating coffee and caffeine. Now, I love coffee very much. So this is something that will be hard for me to completely eliminate out of my life entirely, but I typically would drink 1 to 2 cups every single day. Sometimes in the past, it would even get up to three, right? If I was bored or wanted something hot and good to drink. But recently, I've been doing it where some days I have no coffee, and maybe one day I'll have decaf, and then just some days I just won't have it at all. So I've made that step to lower the amount of caffeine. Then it's increase organic fruits and veggies. So when farmers grow their stuff, in order for it to grow faster and not have insects on there and be able to have a longer shelf life, they spray it with pesticides. So the goal for me was to increase the amount of organic fruits and vegetables and free range meats that I eat so that I'm not getting all those pesticides and extra chemicals on the food, right? I already do a pretty good job of that, but continue to increase that and to get a better water filter. So with the water filter, if you're drinking tap water, you know, things like heavy metals, fluoride, um, and different even pharmaceutical drugs are coming through there. So the water filters that are proper are going to filter that stuff out, and you're not going to be drinking that stuff. So those were some of the things that I'm going to be doing. In addition to that, here's what Gianna is doing with me, which is more of like baseline, like anyone can really benefit from that. So we're going to be eliminating sugar and alcohol and all processed grains like wheats and refined grains and dairy. So the reason we're doing this is because they are all highly inflammatory. And like I've said before, when stressors come onto your body, whether it be from food, from oxidative stress, from different stress, that is an inflammatory response in your body, and that leads to all types of symptoms, disease, and dysfunctions in your body. So I figured, why not take this time to really dial it in and have someone to do it with, where we go grocery shopping together, we live in the same house, so it's going to be a little bit easier so that we can hold each other accountable and also plan ahead to what we're going to do, what meals we're going to pick, how we're going to meal prep, what snacks we're going to have if we need them, and really, lean on one another if we're dealing with, hey, I'm really hungry or I'm craving this, and you kind of have to get through those withdrawal symptoms and then start to feel really good. So today is literally day one. So I'm going to keep you guys posted with how I'm feeling, some of the things that I'm experiencing. Like today, I had a headache because I had no coffee at all, and that is a withdrawal symptom from your body craving that stuff. So I'm going to keep you guys posted on those things. Now, as I go through the rest of my protocol, there are some very beneficial things that I'm going to be doing as habits, but the main one was for the diet portion. It is really dialing in what I'm consuming, making sure that they're organic foods, free range, right? Giving your body a break from all those chemicals because even though it fights it off and detoxes that stuff, that leads to symptoms downstream and leads to all types of effects when you do it year in and year out, right? You got to give your body a break. So I'm not saying that I'm going to sit here and never have sugar again or never have rice again. But for the time being, I'm going to go for 90 days and we're going to do this together. And we're going to give it a break. Now, with that being said, I'm going to break down the other things that are part of my personal dress protocol and just understand that most of this stuff you can do on a fundamental level. Like you don't need to have had your lab work done, and it will probably benefit you because, I mean, let's be honest, right? There's things that will allow us to get back to being human, right? Eating whole foods, drinking clean water, getting outside in sunlight that are going to benefit us no matter what. So in the rest category, one of the big things was removing electronics from the bedroom at nighttime and turning off the Wi-Fi router. Now, to some of you guys, this might be something that you never even thought of once before. It's like, hey, my phone is my alarm clock. I have a TV in there. And why would I ever unplug my Wi-Fi router? Well, the reason being is that these EMF signals that are going off that you can't see are causing your body to stay in a state of fight or flight, which is not allowing your body to then, again, rest and digest and get good sleep. So if your body's constantly in fight or flight, well, then guess what? You might be unconscious, but your body's not getting the best sleep that it can. So things that I'm going to do is unplug that router at night. We're going to look into an alarm clock that is digital, that's battery powered, right? And then I have a circuit breaker switch for my TV because it's on an extension cord, so I can turn that off, and that will cut all of the power going to that totally. So, really trying to limit how much electronics and EMF signals are going to my bedroom at nighttime. The other thing, the next category is exercise. So for me, I'm going to really have to work on my downtime, right? Like limiting how intense my workouts are and how frequently they are. Like typically I'd work out 5 to 6 days a week. I'm really trying to get it down to 4 to 5, and then prioritizing walks and stretching and even detoxification, right? Like going into the sauna and stretching and doing those things that are going to help my body heal itself rather than just constantly beat it up. So limiting the exercise a bit, and then stress reduction, right? So I had a piece of the drywall in my room that had gotten wet, so I had to replace that, right? So that there's no mold or anything in there. And also another thing for me was to reduce my what they call workaholic numbers by a couple points, which means prioritize my schedule, right? As someone who owns a business, there are countless things that you can be doing, right? You could work at all hours of the day. You could be answering people's messages, emails. If you don't schedule that out and prioritize your time, which is something that I've learned to do, and it's always a work in progress, but having boundaries, right? Hey, I only check my phone at these times or these days, or I only check my email at this time, and realizing that most of the things are not life or death, and you can schedule those out. So at first, you're like, I just want to respond to everybody, hit every notification, make sure no one's, getting left behind. And that will cause you to go crazy because you'll be doing it 24/7. And you need those boundaries within your personal life and your business and your alone time, right? So that is one thing that I'll be working on. But I wanted to bring this stuff up, guys, because this is my health journey, and it's important that you know what I'm doing so that when I give you guys some advice or I bring guests on to talk about certain things, to know that I'm doing it as well, and that I want you to reach out with questions that you have because, again, I always say this, but I'm not sitting here pointing the finger, just telling you exactly what you need to do and that I have all the answers. It's like, no, I'm doing this with you guys, right? So I'm taking this next 90 days to really dial in more so the nutrition, but other habits throughout my life that are going to reduce the stress and improve my body's vitality. And I'll keep you posted with how I feel, right? How my energy levels are, my nasal congestion, right? All the symptoms that I deal with, I'm looking to improve. And I'll leave you with to remember that your body is the best doctor in the world. Like no matter what I say, no matter what anyone else you hear on the internet or the doctor that you go to says, you need to start listening to your body, right? It's got an innate intelligence that knows what it needs, right? When you start to do habits like what I'm telling you here and the things that I talk about all the time, and you listen to your body, it's going to give you a response. It's like, hey, I tried a wind down routine at nighttime where the screens were off and, I wore blue blockers or I stopped scrolling on social media and started journaling instead. And voila, I started to get better sleep. Like you need to start listening to what your body's telling you. If you're starting to get symptoms, that means something's off. If your body's starting to feel better and higher energy and better mood and satiated from your food, it's like, all right, what am I doing to achieve this result? And this way we can continue to do it and improve upon it. So, guys, I wanted to leave you with a short one today so that you were updated on my health journey and kind of know the insights of what I'm doing personally while I try to teach you all little tips and tricks on how to get better each and every week. So, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day. And please feel free to reach out to me, whether it's through Messenger or if you know me personally, reach out to me, text me. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, like all the other episodes, if you learned something, if it sparked a thought in your head, share it with somebody. Text it to them, share it on your social media. This is on YouTube as well. So if you'd like to watch your content, you can watch it on YouTube. So this way you can like, subscribe, and know that I'm going to post on every single Tuesday with a new episode for you guys. So go on there, check it out, like, subscribe, and share the episode. But until next time, go have an amazing day, and I will see you guys next week.